Hello and welcome to Pro Trader Strategies market commentary for, yes, get out the vote day, Tuesday, November the 3rd. I'm Eric Wilkinson, and you very well may recognize me as the Wolfman from mainstream media, where I've talked about the economic data, the geopolitical environment, how that comes in to impact the markets with some of my market analysis. And I go a little bit further for you folks in these market commentaries and talk about these option strategies I'm implementing into my portfolio based on those assumptions we come up with. And we aren't just picking option strategies out of the hat. No, we have a finite guideline system here at Pro Trader Strategies that leads you to the right option strategy for any given assumption. All right, so without further ado, let's get on with the economic data. Across the pond, not really a whole lot to see. We do have the presidential elections here in the United States, so we could see some volatility throughout the day. Then we also have factory orders coming in line with expectations at 1.1%, and that's about it. Not a whole lot to see here. Tomorrow we do get some more PMI numbers on the service sector side, so we'll keep our eyes out for that, and also crude oil inventories. Crude oil making a move here, more based on those PMI manufacturing numbers we saw here and across the pond as those ramp up or start looking well above 50 or solidly above 50. Well, that means that it looks like the manufacturing sector is going to start ramping up, and that is a big driver of the demand aspect in crude oil. That being said, we're starting to see this move higher. Not a whole lot. We are back above the 200-day moving average and migrating back towards that point of control. And then we move over to gold futures. Gold moving higher again today. I guess the idea is once this election's out of the way, then we will be able to start moving on to a stimulus package. The idea here also is if the Democrats win, the stimulus package could be a little bit hefty. And if the Republicans win, it's going to be a little bit more streamlined, I guess. But back above 1900 in gold futures. Bonds are coming off another point down on the day, making another low and breaking below the 50 Fibonacci. It seems a little bit ridiculous to me, but again, we are looking at lower highs, lower lows. After yesterday, it looked like we might have broken that trend a little bit, but today's market movement back below that Fibonacci, that 172 handle, that is making it look like we're getting another lower low. Then we move on to the VIX. VIX is coming off because the equities are screaming higher today. As we can see, the Dow Jones up almost 700 points, back to the point of control, and maybe where we'll probably calm down a little bit. Here we have the NASDAQ moving higher by 260 points on the day. Again, yesterday I was talking about this point of control building up right around this 78 Fibonacci, which lines up with 11,240. Yeah, well, we're about almost 100 points above that right now. But that being said, there's a big volume node there. That's where time and volume has been spent. It is being accepted. We could start easily seeing the volume nodes start to move, or the points of control to start moving higher, meaning acceptance of value at higher levels and more of a bullish sentiment then as well. E-mini S&Ps up 78 points on the day. Coming up to that 50-day simple moving average, losing a little bit of momentum, if you will. But again, points of control right here, building out a nice big volume node right here in and around this area, just above 3,300, and we peeled above that today. Actually settled above there yesterday, but ripping to the upside and looking pretty solid at this point. Now let's look at the E-mini S&Ps overnight. Very bullish overnight. No attempt to flush out all the longs, which is bullish going through the day as there is no attempt to get them out. We got some earnings coming out earlier today, and they were good. PayPal actually beat on the street. They got beat up right away, so let's just go on and talk about them. PayPal, as you can see, overnight, we got the result after the close yesterday, and they beat on the street pretty nicely. Market really kind of sold off on it. It's as typical of what we're seeing here in the equities. When we're seeing these good earnings, it's really about forward guidance. I don't think that PayPal really said anything bad about forward guidance or had any difficulty seeing what was happening, but The market really started beating them up as soon as the market opened, though, today. Broader markets driving higher. That's also giving PayPal a lift to the upside, thankfully. So I was able to cover this trade about probably, probably 20 minutes ago. So relatively soon there. And as you can see here with PayPal, I ended up selling the PayPal trade. The November weeklies, sold those at 60, sold the 65 puts in there for $1.61. All right. And then I was able to buy those back for 50 cents this morning when we started getting that rally. I just put in a bid for that. So PayPal out of that trade for earnings. Like I said, played it to the upside, selling those puts. Look at this volatility crush. When we're talking about volatility crush going from 62 to 49, that's 12 percentage points of movement. So, even though I was directionally wrong on this trade, especially overnight and on the open, we were down probably $8. Now it's coming back to unchanged for the most part. But that volatility coefficient on here took away about 30 cents. Now, when I'm talking about I sold that trade for $1.61, well, we've got about 10 points of move in volatility. That is 30 cents coming out of that trade. That completely offset most of the gamma on that, the delta on that, because I had about an $8 move on that, and that was about 7 cents. So pretty close to wiping out the delta move against me with just the Vega. And because I did those short-term theta trade, the theta on that was probably around 30 cents as well. So 60 cents coming out of it, completely offsetting that directional against me. Started getting that pop up, that helped out, and was able to be a point where I was able to get out. So that's it. That's all I've done. Not any real earnings this afternoon. So I'm probably going to be sitting on my hands, keeping an eye out on what's happening in the election. So please get out there and vote. Your voice counts. So one last thing, your voice counts, and so does this disclaimer. So make sure you take a moment to go over our disclaimer, as we are an educational company. And if you can't take that, take it easy.